We often talk about how to maximize your travel through points and miles, but sometimes it's the small things in life that can help save you time and effort, both in your daily life and when traveling. It might seem strange to some of you, but there's a whole sub-community of people that are obsessed about what they carry every day. The concept is called everyday carry, or EDC, and today we're going to explore it. How's it going, everyone? It's Ernest from Trip Astute. In this video, I want to share my everyday carry for both my normal life and when I'm traveling. This is one of those topics that's been in my content pipeline for a while. If you're into gadgets or tools, you're hopefully going to enjoy this video. I'll be running through the items that I carry in both work and travel situations. Hopefully this might inspire or help you make your EDC more efficient and streamlined. Before we start, I do want to caveat that this is not going to be focused solely on multi-tools. I'm working on a separate video on that topic. Multi-tools are a bit tricky when it comes to travel, so I want to dedicate a video on which tools I use and some tips on how to carry them. Also, sometimes the concept of EDC is associated with weapons. That's not part of my EDC, so I want to be upfront in case that's why you clicked on this video. But first, in case you're new here, welcome to our channel. Trip Astute is a travel channel that is focused on sharing ways to make travel easier, affordable, and more enjoyable. Traveling can be stressful and expensive, so we're looking for ways to help you maximize your experience through travel tips, points and miles, and innovative gear. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing. I'm going to start with the items that I carry in my daily life. Since I work in an office environment during the week, my EDC revolves around items that help me organize things that I need to carry and can help me save time versus surviving in the wilderness. To start off, I have an organizer to keep my keys tidy. The specific model that I'm using is the Orbitkey key organizer. The Orbitkey holds between 2 to 7 keys and requires either a screwdriver or coin to unlock the main screw that holds your keys. The one that I have is made of leather, though Orbitkey does offer one in non-leather materials. I also got one for Fiona a few years ago, and she seems to like it a lot. My only complaints with the Orbitkey is that the leather feels a bit cheap, and the locking mechanism can be a bit finicky, especially on the newer models. Also, while it keeps your keys mostly covered, there are still metallic parts that can scratch items in the same pocket. The D-ring also has a tendency to slide up and down the leather and get stuck, which I find a bit annoying. I ended up removing mine and just using a steel ring. I recently received a similar product from an Australian-based company called Gibbons that is launching on Kickstarter. They asked if I would be interested in checking out their product, and after looking at it online, I thought it seemed pretty interesting. I was surprised since their key organizer addresses all the complaints that I have with Orbitkey. It uses Italian leather, which gives it a much more premium feel. It has a D-ring at the very end that is secured in place but can be removed easily without any tools. And most importantly, your keys can be secured into the organizer without any tools or coins. All you have to do is stack your keys into the organizer and hand screw the top. Once it's tight, just press down and you're good to go. This is an improvement from the Orbitkey, which has extra washers that can easily get lost when you're trying to add keys. They even offer accessories like USB drives and multi-tools that can be added to their system. All the parts are made from marine grade stainless steel rather than the aluminum parts that you'll find in a lot of other key organizers. Though what's really cool is that there's a lot less metal material on the outside of the product. This means that it's less likely to scratch other items in your pocket. It definitely seems like an upgrade over the Orbitkey, and in my week or so of testing it, I have to say that I'm really impressed and will likely be replacing my Orbitkey with the Gibbon. The Gibbon is available on Kickstarter for about $27 US. I think that's a solid price considering that similar devices usually cost a lot more. I would love to see Gibbon offer alternative materials, especially for those that don't like leather. However, this is their first keychain organizer, so I'm sure we'll see them grow their product line, especially since this one seems to already be so popular on Kickstarter. It was generous of them to send me one to test out, and I honestly feel like it's well designed and worth checking out. Next on the list is my Bellroy card pocket wallet. I won't go into too many details since I did a separate video review on it. It's one of my favorite wallets for carrying a lot of credit cards, which is perfect for points and miles collectors. Since I usually carry 5 or more cards in my wallet and often swap cards as bonus categories change, it makes sense to use a wallet that doesn't have pockets that can stretch. Check out our review of the wallet for more details. The next item is a multi-tool. For the past few years, I've been carrying a Leatherman style PS. It's a great keychain multi-tool and one that I've used for years. It has 8 different tools, including spring action pliers, wire cutters, scissors, a screwdriver that fits both flathead and Phillips head screws, tweezers, nail file, bottle opener, and carabiner. The one thing that you'll notice missing is a knife blade. Having a pocket knife is extremely useful, and I know EDC fans are going to hate me for saying this, but I honestly find it a pain to carry a knife blade. I can't tell you how many Swiss Army knives I've had confiscated when entering different places and facilities. In fact, I used to have a Swiss Army manager knife, which I thought was a perfect keychain size pocket knife and multi-tool. However, it was confiscated at Universal Studios a few years ago. I was already too far along in the entrance line, so I didn't want to have to go back to my car and re-enter the line and keep my entire party waiting too. So I gave it up, even though I absolutely loved that model. The keychain size Leatherman isn't going to replace your regular tools, nor will you be able to build a house with it. But for the occasional small issue or repair, this tool has been extremely handy. When we traveled to Joshua Tree National Park in 2017, I actually used my Style PS to pull off the Choya cactus needles that were stuck in my hand. The Leatherman Style PS costs around $30 and is available on Amazon, on Leatherman's website, and at most sporting goods and department stores. I usually carry my phone in my left pocket since I don't want to get it scratched by all the stuff in my right pocket. In case you're interested, I use a Rhino Shield bumper case. I think it's a great compromise between having a minimal case and still getting protection if it's dropped. The last thing I want to cover in my daily EDC review are the small clips that I use with everything. They're called Macgizmo clips and they come in all different sizes. I really like them since it makes adding and removing items very quick and easy. For example, if I'm walking down to the store and I don't plan to drive, I can quickly remove my car keys from my keychain. This also works well when I need to leave my keys with an attendant, like when valet parking or having my car serviced. And when I might be going on a hike where I might want to carry a small knife, I can quickly clip one to my keychain. These clips are a bit tricky to find. I've ordered them through Berkeley Point, which offers all kinds of hardware, but you can also find them on eBay. If you do get them, I recommend getting various sizes. You'll be amazed at how useful they are, and you'll likely want to start adding a clip to everything that you carry. Now let's talk about my travel EDC. For travel, it's generally a bit lighter. For one, I usually carry a different wallet depending on where I'm going and whether I anticipate using more cash versus card. Since I usually only carry and use my Chase Sapphire Reserve and Charles Schwab debit card, I don't usually carry the Bellroy card pocket since I don't need the extra capacity. Plus, if I'm traveling to a place where I need to use cash more often, I prefer using a wallet that's more accessible when it comes to notes, specifically one that doesn't require me to trifold my bills. We've done a lot of wallet reviews on this channel, so I won't go through all of the options. However, check out our wallet playlist for more information. I usually don't carry my keys while traveling, especially if I'm overseas. However, I still do carry a multi-tool. Instead of my Leatherman Style PS, I carry a more simple and inexpensive tool like the Gerber Shard. The Shard is a one-piece design tool. It lacks the complexity of a real multi-tool, but instead is simple and straightforward. It still has some useful tools and functions, including a pry bar, 2 flathead screwdrivers, wire stripper, bottle opener, nail puller, and Phillips screwdriver. Like the Leatherman Style PS, it doesn't have a knife blade, but I found the screwdriver edges and nail puller to work great for opening packages and bags. The reason I think this is a fantastic tool for traveling is that it's simple and easy to inspect. The classic multi-tool design requires someone to open the tools to see what's there. This doesn't have that problem, and it only costs $7 and can be found for even less on sites like Amazon. While the Leatherman Style PS can technically pass through TSA since it doesn't have a knife blade, I don't actually travel with it. The reason being that I would feel annoyed having this tool confiscated by airport security, especially since it's $30. Also, it does look a bit more tactical, which doesn't bother me, but I worry that it might draw unnecessary attention if I were to carry it while traveling abroad. While I do miss scissors and tweezers, I think the Gerber Shard is a great compromise. And at $7, I won't be heartbroken if an airport official decides to confiscate it. There are other things that have come and gone in my setup, like flashlights and pens. I used to carry a small keychain pen called the Night Eyes Inca Mobile, but I found myself using it less and less every day, especially since things are a lot more digital these days. I also used a pocket clip on my keychain to keep it all better positioned in my pocket. I recommend the Tech Accessories P7 Keychain Suspension Clip. It only costs $12, looks discreet, and does a great job of keeping your keys and other items aligned in your pocket. What items do you carry in your EDC? I'd love to hear if you have any gadgets or devices that you find to be especially helpful and useful. Let me know in the comment section below. I've included links to the items featured in this video. TripPursuit does get a percentage if you use some of our links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps us to continue building content for this channel. Also, with Father's Day around the corner, I'm hoping some of the items mentioned might spark some gift ideas for you. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give us a thumbs up and consider sharing the video with others. It really helps us with growing our channel and community. Until next time, travel safe and travel smart.